Now, having seen this film a second time, I feel like I was somebody who thought there was only like uh one special ingredient in a tres leches cake, and then somebody explained to me what tres leches was, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much more here, so much more depth than I thought. I don't know if anybody's gonna get that reference, but it's it's pulling back the layers and seeing and discovering that there's this whole other layer of richness there. Uh, and yeah, I'm John Stark from BackToMovieGuy.com, and this is me taking a second look at the Banshees of Inisherin. I'm doing this kind of all this week, taking looks at some of my favorite films from the past year. A lot of them will be up for Oscars. Some of them may not be. Some of them may just be films I loved from the past year that are still available to stream, so I can still talk about them one last time as I'm doing also my best of 2022 lists. And this was something I really wanted to rewatch. I saw this in December. It's currently March, so it hasn't been that long, but it's been a minute since I've been able to marinate on the film. And immediately, as soon as I saw this film, it like skyrocketed. It was immediately like in my potential top 10 that I had like hovering, waiting around of oh my god, this is gonna do it. And the performances and everything. I mean, my love for this film has no bounds. I already gave it Best Original Screenplay in my own little best of 2022s. So, this is... I watched it again with audio descriptions available on HBO Max. It was still with audio description, so if you haven't caught it yet, you can still go catch it on HBO Max with audio description. I'm not reviewing the audio description for a second time. It's fantastic audio description. It was the first time, and it still is. I made sure it's still there. They didn't change it. They didn't hire some drunk guy to come in and be like, ugh. So there's this guy, and he's like on the screen, and he's kind of like standing there, and it doesn't change to that. We're fine. It's the same thing. Although that would be really fun audio description. Alternatively, terrible audio description for the sake of being terrible. But that should be on like a terrible movie, like maybe like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey or something. We should just hire some drunk guy to do. I don't know. It's like Winnie the Pooh's like killing people. Oh my god, what? But an intentionally hilarious accessibility. But this is I love it. I love this film. I actually love it even more, which is really hard to do because I already gave it an A, so I don't A plus, which is great. I actually usually end up reviewing. That it usually means an A plus is like one of my favorite films of all time. It's a film. It's a grade I rarely roll out unless I'm doing a second look and saying this is it. This is one of those. This is Jurassic Park for me. This is a Toy Story film. This is, I don't know, The Departed. Yeah, very rarely do I ever give a film an A plus right out of the gate, because it would be impossible for me to almost feel that about two films in the same year. So that instantaneously, I didn't give a single film an A plus on the first viewing this year. Banshees feels to me like if I ever come back around to it a third time, I feel like it's probably gonna move an A plus. But I felt the same way about Three Billboards. I think like I've seen Three Billboards at least twice, if not three times, and I feel pretty comfortable in saying Three Billboards is one of my favorite films. Like it's in the top, I don't know, it's got to be in my top 100. So Mark McDonough does great work, and he does more great work here. He really creates these complex characters, and they're getting sort of really underrated in terms of acting because A, this is kind of a dark comedy, and B, it's also not as showy as some of the other films. This is pretty straightforward. The performances are pretty straightforward. Um, but it's so well written and it's so human, that I don't know how people can't go into this film and just totally feel and relate to. Colin Farrell is tremendous in this film. He's just great. His character arc, everything that he goes through. Seeing it a second time, I do feel that, I know there was a lot of talk about Brendan Gleeson also kind of being a lead. I don't think he is a lead. I think I noticed there really is kind of a disparity in screen time between Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. He's a very confusing supporting actor because the film does focus on him sometimes, and without the necessity of Colin Farrell. And a lot of times we can easily figure out leads because who are we telling the story through? But when you have a character that's supporting that breaks off and goes and does his own thing, and we get to see it, and we're following him on his own journey, almost makes him feel like a lead. He just doesn't have the screen time that Colin Farrell does in this film. It's close, but it's not there. It just, watching everybody's reactions a second time around to, just this sudden end of a friendship. And it's so bizarre. It is so, and everybody kind of looks at it and I love the reactions, Bear Keegan's character comes in, Dominic comes in, and he's just like, what is he, 12? Because Colin Farrell's like, he doesn't want to be friends with me anymore. And his first reaction is, what is he, 12? It kind of feels childish. And even though his character, Barry Keegan's character, is supposed to be like the goofy ne'er-do-well, even he can recognize that, even he looks at it and he goes, I don't understand what's happening. And I think that's kind of the whole film, is we don't really understand what's happening. And then when we get to Brendan and the choices that he makes in order to try to drive home the point that Colin should stay away, I think that it's weird. When you watch it the first time, you're like, oh my God, what's happening? It's a bit much, but I think the kind of person maybe that all of a sudden just makes that change in life is also the kind of person that they keep asking him if he's okay, and they're worried about him. And maybe there's some truth there. Maybe this is some sort of 1920s version of depression that has not been diagnosed and is representative of something much darker and much deeper than that. It seems to want to come off as I want to leave a legacy behind, I want to be remembered, which we all, I think, kind of struggle with. The idea that we're all insignificant in this grand scheme, unless you just happen to be somebody that does something, that transcends. But we cannot all be Julius Caesar or William Shakespeare, or Mozart, or, and have our names talked about for years and years and years. I always thought that was, I always have fun thinking about Coco, and how as long as somebody's remembering you, you're in this world, right? And I think about, I'm like, man, there are some people that must be really down there. And they're like, they've been down there for a while, and they're like, I'm gonna be here forever. What did you do? I don't know if you know this, but I am Alexander the Great, and I've been in a lot of textbooks, so I'm gonna be in this world forever. They make movies about me, so lots of people remember me. Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's just a little aside, but I've always thought that's interesting. So I guess you could say Brendan Gleeson wants to be in Coco World forever. he wants to be, he wants to be down there and wants to be remembered and have some time to exist. And Colin just doesn't understand that, and I don't understand why the two can't coexist, but Brendan believes that they can't. And I think it's a smart decision from Martin, because the confusion of all of this is actually what makes this film even weirder and works so much better. Because if we saw them before, if the breakup was later in the film, and it would feel like there was a catalyst. It would feel like that there was some specific moment or something that he said that actually caused this to happen. But because the film starts off with "I don't want to be friends," we are left with, wait, what? For why? It's so intriguing, because we didn't know what happened before. We don't know what they were like before, how long they were friends, what their relationship was like before, how buddy they were. Has this been a long time coming? Has he always been annoyed? I have no idea. And it takes that out of the film, and it just puts you right in what it wants you to put yourself into, which is the devolving state of this relationship. And Colin Farrell and his great character arc of everything seems to just keep falling apart for him. He doesn't really have a lot going on, and he's losing the few little things that do go on. And while we talk about Brendan Gleeson trying to find his purpose, well, Colin Farrell has a little bit of purpose, and then his little bit of purpose seems to be slipping away. So this is a very nuanced film, and I loved it. The second time through, I came out of here with a much better appreciation for Colin Farrell's performance. I came out of here with a much better appreciation for Brendan Gleeson's performance. And Carrie Condon is striking and remarkable in this film, and deserves all the love in the world. It's a fantastic performance as Siobhan, as somebody who hates being reminded that she's not married. She knows she's living with her brother. She knows she's on this island with all of these loser men. The film almost makes it a point to not really evolve female characters. Like they don't exist. Like all of the women have left except sort of the crotchety old ones, the Mrs. McCormicks of the world. There isn't like another Siobhan. Like Siobhan has nobody like her to talk to. So she's alone. She just has all these guys. They don't really elevate any other female character for her to talk to help amplify her loneliness. She just has her brother and her animals. And she clearly wants so much more than that. And that's why her choices in her film feel so perfect and so relevant. This is a great film. It's in a tough year, but man, I gotta be honest and say, if I heard some shocking wins for Banshees of Inisherun in categories in which it's not supposed to win, I would be so happy. If this film just started sweeping, like shockingly, all of a sudden, I would, of course, I'm not going to predict it, but so my Gold Derby score would go down, but I would be, inside of me, I would be really happy, because this is a film that's going to stick with me a lot longer than perhaps Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which is not going to be the same thing. Some people are very much the opposite. I know some people are very tepid on Banshees of Inisherun. But I don't know, maybe I just love Martin McDonough films. I don't really have an answer for you, but Second time through, this film got better for me. I love this film even more now. So that was what it did. It worked really well. I still don't know that there's a score here. So I'm I know some people are like, oh, the score to Banshees of Inishirun, and I'm like, yeah. Are we considering live music that they play to be the score? Because that's kind of how I feel like Tar. Like, I'm really confused about the attention that the scores of Tar and Banshees have been given. Because I just don't know. It just didn't. The scores, I mean, the music in the film is cool. I love fiddle music. It's, yeah, great. Cool. I love listening to it. I love Irish culture, and I love, it's part of me. So I love kind of taking that little part of me and getting to watch it and live it and think about, you know, way back in the day, how there was a part of me that was Irish, and these are my people in some weird way, and living cathartically through this film and embracing the culture. And I really want to say feckin' all the time. But yeah, I don't know, the score, I think they're better scores. So I gave Banshees of Inisherin an A the first time through. And I don't usually change grades. But I think Banshees of Inisherin is going to be a film is going to stick with me. Is going to become a favorite of mine 10, 20 years from now. The fact that I actually loved it more, and I loved it already a lot the first time through, and then I saw it again, and I just was like, I appreciated it. I saw all of this. I feel like I saw more moments. I didn't even like Barry Keoghan's performance that much the first time around. Second time around, I was like, you know what? He's not bad. I don't know that I'd give him the Oscar, but he's not bad. I saw much more nuance in his performance. It's rare for a film. I don't know what else to do for a film that I already gave an A to, and now I'm more in love with it than I was before the first time. So I will go ahead and grade, and I'm going to give Banshees of Inisherin an A+, and move this into, I think this is one of my favorite films of all time. So this is the first film out of 2022 that I've been willing to commit to an A+ to. It's a grade I do not give lightly, but is representative of a handful of films that I believe I will be watching again over and over and over and over. Comfort films, if you will. I don't even necessarily know that my A+ grade means that I believe it's the best film of all time. It means that it's a favorite film of mine. It's my way of giving you that little extra gold star for transcending in a way that I think will actually stick with me. Lots of films are good, and I don't think I ever want to see them again, nor do I think I ever will. But after seeing this film twice, I think I'll be watching this again. I don't know how many times. We'll see. But I would be open to watching this again if I found somebody else who was like, I haven't seen that. I'd be like, oh, let's watch it. It's a great film. It's under 2 hours, which is rare. It's expertly paced. So please enjoy it. If you haven't watched Banshees of Inisherin, there's never been a better time before the Oscars. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe so we can continue to talk about films that have audio description. I know I didn't go really into the audio description this time in my first review, but this is the second. It's the same audio description, so I'm not going to keep talking about the exact same thing over and over. I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can go to the audio description project at adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. You can go to theadna.org, where you can look up your favorite movies and TV shows and see who's working on the narration for them. And you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at MacTheMovieGuy. That's it for me today. And yeah, I'll be seeing you on the other side.